creative friends, it's Kamela here from Creative Moms Decant. I've got my acrylic brushes, my favorite brushes, and an acrylic blank sunflower today.
With an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings, but now I shine with your reflection.
Alright, so to make this elegant UV resin keychain, we are going to be using Craft Chameleon's UV resin, gold and rose gold leafing. I'm going to use a little glow powder and a couple shades of mica powder. And then for blanks, I am using, they are sunflower coasters, and maybe not recommended for a keychain. The edges are really fragile, but also nowadays keychains stay in purses with automatic vehicles. So I did, and my husband did it for me, but we just drilled a hole through here, and I'm going to turn one of these into a keychain. But if you order the 4 of them, you'll also, from Craft Chameleon, you'll also get the feet, and you will also get a SVG download of a sunflower outline and the entire blank. If you wanted to do vinyl, I'm going to tell you 2 things. This is a really detailed vinyl, so if you're good with vinyl, you can probably do it. I am much better with hand painting, and it's what I enjoy than trying to get vinyl to line up, because this is a crazy decorative, amazingly beautiful acrylic blank. So I am just going to go ahead and pull the paper backing off here. I also have out my favorite UV resin brushes, and you can just grab those off of Amazon. They are awesome. I'm going to go ahead and pull this paper backing. They never give trouble unless you're on camera. This one was a lot of details, but usually it pulls really easy no matter what. Awesome. And then we're going to start our mixing. So I'm going to grab some medicine cups. The cool thing about UV resin is you can mix up a little extra and keep it. So that's my acrylic blank. I'm going to mix up my colors here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing on the side here. So again, you know, I'm probably like breaking rules because that's what I do. But I am using, it's a necklace blank. I cannot find my little scooper. This is a necklace blank. So if you can tell, it has a clip here, and you could definitely put it on the chain. I like the Craft Chameleon chains, so you can get those from there. You can grab them from anywhere. But you can make a necklace. They are a little, you get to choose what kind of blank you want to put in it. So I chose a light gray finish, but you could choose anything from clear to all kinds of colors, and it glues in. We are going to use the brown that I'm going to use in the center of here and do some vinyl, and I'll show you how I'm going to seal that. So I've just put a little bit of the mica powder and some UV resin in this cup, and I'm going to do 2 more, my orange and brown, and then we're going to get started. And it's really just painting on a sunflower. So I'm going to turn on some music and you can watch me paint. Alright, so this is going to be a backwards keychain, and I don't know that I've shown one of those, so kind of new here. So basically, we're going to remove this side, and it's going to become the front. So I'm going to start with my dark brown here, and I'm going to go from the tips all the way down, just making a fun little flowery design. And so I'm going to start on big, the ones that are like, you know, the big tips, and work them down into big petals. And I'm going to keep turning around and do that, and then go back in and fill in the little ones. So let's go. So I am just finishing up by making sure every edge to edge, all around the blank completely has a line of resin. If you don't do this, you're going to have a much more likely chance of missing the edges on your final coat. You also want to make sure that no areas of your Mica powder are super thick. So this is a paint level layer, and it needs to be thin, so thin lines for this thick of powder. So I'm just dragging some of these down. So once you've done that, you can do a few dots in the middle. I'm going to want this area very dotted, so I'm going to just do a light coat here and then seal, and then we're going to do another coat. So also, even though running underneath your light for 90 seconds will seem like enough to the touch, run it 2 times. Mica powder can be kind of tricky to cure. So we're going to run this thin layer of painting resin 2 times without any of this resin close to the light. So move it, and here we go. All right, so that's twice under the light. As soon as it goes off, bring my resin paint back in. All right, so it's dry, definitely dry to the touch. It will be dry to the touch after 1 time, but you want to run it twice. So now we're just going to start adding layers of color and keep decorating this. And I just kind of go with the principles of painting, and so that's working the darks in and the lights in and just making these petals pop. All right, so sometimes I seal my brushes to help clean those up. And I do also like to set these right back in front of the UV light so that they're in my way when I go to put this in and I remember to move them. So then when you seal them, it just pulls off. I'm hard on brushes. There's no secret in that. And these do hold up really well, even for me. All right, so now we're ready to continue layering some colors into our petals. And I also want to show you how we're going to continue to get this stem, because if we get too much of the color down here, when we flip it over, we're not going to have a stem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out just a little flaking. And sometimes this will dab with a brush, but tweezers work well too. And it is messy. There's no denying the fact that this gold leafing is messy. And you just want to kind of place pieces of it where you want it. Using whole sheets of it with UV resin is not advised by me because you won't get it sealed. So you'll definitely want to stay to the end for my last sealing tip, but I'm going to continue to place the mica powder and the UV resin and the gold leafing around to create this fun sunflower keychain. All right, 2 times. I almost did it 3. So we are getting almost full coverage now on the blank. So I know some of these areas where it may be hard to pick up on camera, but it's pretty much all orange or yellow. And you could do definitely another layer. I have done up to, I think, 3 on top of each other, maybe even 4. And when I do the curing in the thin layers, I've not had one peel up. So, but that is a common problem with mica powder, so just remember that. So if you want to add a little extra flair, you can add some glitter. And I, of course, am going to. And I'm going to do this in probably a weird way. But I added just a pinch. Let me see if I can get you. There we go. So that spot right there is my glitter. So I added just a pinch of glitter to the very center there. And then I'm going to close up the salted caramel. And I'm going to use the lemon meringue. And I'm just going to go kind of crazy with the lemon meringue because it's so light and I really just want it to pick up all around the back. So yes, I am sprinkling this on the sealed keychain, which I know is not normal. It's not even how I normally do it, but it's a really fun way when you're flipping because you're going to get some of that sparkle on both sides, but it makes both sides really pretty. So now, and the reason I only did a dot here is I'm adding my protective coat, so my cover. And I'm going to start in the center and then just work the resin out. So that's going to allow that center to work. It also puts a little bit of your glitter kind of up in the resin, so it almost looks like a snow globe kind of look. All right, so a good gob of resin, and now let's work it out. All right, so I'm going to pick the blank up carefully. So I have not sealed this last coat yet, but you just wipe underneath with the rubbing alcohol on a wipe, and it will help you clean up fine edges. And it's hard and it is messy. I'm going to get it on my hands. After you do that, what I do is I stick it under the light, but then I do not turn that light on. If it turns on, sometimes it does, turn it off immediately and make sure it's sitting all flat, and then about 60 seconds, and then start your light. All right, so for the embellishment, we are going to just get a blob of super glue and glue this down. I do want to wipe that mica powder off. Well, I guess I'm putting mica powder on it anyway, so. And I'm just going to glue this in. This is the only time I actually like super glue because it's guaranteed. Only time I won't get it on my fingers. And I'm serious. Okay, really, that was UV resin. It really was. Okay, so now how we're going to cover this is the same kind of a process, but I'm just going to use the browns this time, and I'm definitely going to use some glitter. So I'm just going to kind of swirl these on and then cure it, and then we're going to put some vinyl on it. Our keychain has probably sat long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and start it. And I really don't mind if these swirls don't start to set up, so I'm even going to kind of just swirl them in here with a little help from the light. And once I'm done, they won't stick real well like this, but once you're done, stick them under the light. I am going to add a little bit of the rose gold to this one, so I'm going to go ahead and dot that out. I had closed it up. You can order the blank bottom to be whatever color you want. Like I said, they come in a pack of 5, so I always order them gray because then they work for whatever comes up. So that's just what I do, but you can order those whatever color you want from Craft Chameleon, which is awesome. All right, so once I've added a little bit of the flakage, I am going to add glitter, yes, and UV resin to the top of this one. So I'm going to go for that salted caramel. And I am going to do this one more time, and we're getting super close to a big reveal here. As I was putting my container away, I wanted to share, this came from Hobby Lobby, and I absolutely love it for storing blanks, especially blanks that you keep on hand. I like to keep little rectangles on hand, and I also absolutely love keeping Missouri blanks on hand. That's my home state. All right, so, oh, that came off. That was good. Here we go. I could have probably weeded that a little bit faster. Sometimes I forget about reverse weeding because I don't use it. Let me know in the comments if you use reverse weeding. All right. And so you can cover that again with another coat of UV resin, or you can just leave it. And we're going to attach these two together with some keychain hardware. So I have found that if you squeeze these at the end and then you drop your pliers down a little ways on them and squeeze again, it definitely closes them tighter. It can be a little bit hard to do, but it's possible. Let's drop your pliers down to about, let's see if you, there you go, to there, and then squeeze, and it kind of curves in just a little, but that way they stay closed for sure. And then I like to twist them if they're on the blank to the inside. All right, that is it. That is my sunflower UV resin keychain. You could definitely add the vinyl to the sunflower as well. Have a joyful day, friends. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
With an illusion, like a sparrow with broken